Okay, everyone, when you're ready, grab your towel. We will head to the yoga mat if you're not there already. We'll start laying down today. If you want a little extra support, you can keep your towel underneath your neck or underneath your head. You could fold your towel or add a blanket just for some extra support. It can also feel nice to kind of cover yourself up with a towel or just kind of use it intuitively here as we begin. So maybe laying down in Shavasana, corpse pose, arms and legs extending. Or you can always keep your knees bent, finding constructive rest pose with your knees resting together at the center. All variations are welcome, so keep adjusting until you feel comfortable. You feel tended to, maybe even kind of cozy. Taking a couple of sighing breaths if that suits you as you settle in. Possibly closing down your eyes or taking longer blinks. If you like to keep your eyes open, do your thing. Feeling all of your props beneath you, sensing the floor beneath the props. Just imagine whatever space you're in now, imagine the floor and what's beneath the floor, the subflooring. If there are any other levels to your house, any other rooms beneath you, what's directly below you? How many layers down? Keep going till you get to the earth. And as you get a sense of where the earth is in relation to your restful body right now, if it sounds interesting to you, let's imagine growing some energetic roots all the way down through the floor, through the other rooms, the basement, the foundation, all the way down into the earth. You might continue this visualization, seeing these energy roots weaving and twining around other roots, other bits of the mycelial network, all the tree roots and everything else down there. And noticing what effect this might have on you physically or mentally or beyond. Can you imagine and get a real felt sense of this grounding connection? In your own way, sending maybe a couple little messages down to the earth and all the networks of roots and bacteria and all the living beings beneath us. Maybe sending some gratitude or some love. Imagining a cycle of energy exchange between you through these roots down to the earth and back up. It's kind of a symbiotic relationship. What is it that you can offer to the earth? What does the earth offer you? Is there any way we can create lives that work to reciprocate some of the gifts given and received from the earth, from each other? Where else do your energetic roots feel like growing? Breathing in, accepting this earth energy. Breathing out, giving back. Let's imagine this circulation now of energy, inhaling as you receive, exhaling as you give. Almost like you're just watching this process now. No need to do it perfectly or get any specific results. We're just playing with this present moment connection to what's around us. It's way too easy to forget, especially when phones and screens are involved. If you would like to set a dedication or intention here, please feel free to do so now. Maybe a couple last circulation or cycles of breath with this energy exchange. And in your own way, thanking and releasing, thanking the earth and releasing those roots. Maybe seeing them remaining in the earth, but cut from you so you're free to move around. Or you might see or imagine these energy cords kind of coming back up into your body. Try not to think too hard, just go with this visual flow. Once you feel that you're back and connected with your own physical body here, let's take 3 rounds of clearing breath, just to fully embody ourselves. So inhaling through your nose, sigh it out. Feel free to make a little sound. Or not, it's up to you. 2 more times. One more. Coming back to a steady pace of breath as you wiggle fingers and toes. Let your head rock to one side and then the other. Maybe circling through ankles and wrists as you make your way into a long body stretch, straightening arms and legs and reaching them in opposite directions. Maybe a yawn. And then we'll roll over onto either side, finding the fetal position, and then press your way up to a comfortable seat. We'll make sure to have our towels here handy. If you want, we'll sit up on either some props here, maybe a blanket or a couple of blocks so that your hips get a little higher than your knees. If sitting cross-legged is especially uncomfortable, or just for any reason, you could prop your knees up with some blocks. That can really help your ability to stay in this position and maybe even enjoy it a little bit. So get yourself all ready. And then we'll bring the fingertips to the floor. Fingertips to the floor on either side of you, lengthening upward through the crown of your head. Nice long spine. Maybe closing your eyes just so you can feel this moment of length. With an inhale, let's reach both hands up and overhead. Option to look up as you join your hands. And exhale, lower hands down to heart center with a tuck of your chin. Inhale, hands go high. Your gaze might follow. Exhale, reaching the arms around and down in no hurry. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhaling as we rise. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, lowering your arms. One more full round through. Let's see if you can just go at your own pace. Inhaling as you rise. Exhaling as you lower. Keep going. When you get to the bottom, grab hold of your towel. We'll put it behind our neck here. And go ahead and just start to lean your head back slightly. Hopefully your towel is thick enough that when you're putting your head back, your head isn't like falling back too far. Hopefully you can feel a little bit of a pressure through the towel there. So just rocking your head a little bit side to side. Really supporting yourself with the towel. This could be a good one if you tend to have a tight neck or look at the computer screen too much. Even having a sweatshirt or, a little something like this can be a nice break in the middle of the day. And whenever you've done that, come back to the center. Let's lift our towel up and overhead. You can adjust as you go here. I'm gonna start with my towel like about shoulder width apart, but if it's uncomfortable, go a little bit wider. So we're gonna sit up nice and tall here. We're just gonna go side to side first. So leaning over to the right, back up to the center, and then leaning over to the left. So let's add our breath to it. Inhale as you come up to the center. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. One more time. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. And exhale, left. Coming back up to center now. Let's lower the towel down in front of you. Give your arms just a little bit of a break. You can kind of circle the shoulders out here, and we'll be doing some more shoulder work here. So this is where you might want to put your arms or your hands out just a little bit wider. We're just going to go up and back. And if it feels safe and comfortable for you, just continuing on. If it doesn't feel comfortable, just stop where you do feel comfortable, like you're getting a little something out of it. You're not risking any injuries here. And the wider your hands are, the I don't want to say easier because it could still feel difficult, but hopefully the wider your hands are, the more room you might have to do this comfortably. There we go. And you could kind of play with it a little bit, maybe kind of flossing your arms back and forth like you're flossing a big giant's tooth or something. Maybe even a little smile. Feels good. Freestyling now, maybe a little twist. Feels kind of nice to have the support of the towel between the arms. Okay, whenever you've had enough, go ahead and lower that down. We'll put the towel aside. Let's come to hands and knees next. We'll be, once we get into our flow today, we'll be doing some things from our knees. So if you're on a hard surface or just prefer to have some cushioning under your knees, you might even put that into play now. So we'll go through cat and cow. Hands more or less below the shoulders, knees more or less beneath the hips. Inhale, lower your belly, lift your gaze, lift your tailbone, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose, rounding your spine, tucking your chin and your tailbone, pressing the floor away, getting a nice stretch between the shoulder blades, and continue on at your own pace now. Inhaling to cow, gaze lifts. Exhaling to cat, pushing the air out as you round up. warming up the spine, the shoulders, elbows, wrists. Getting some movement through the hip joints, of course, the spine. Or did I already say that? Okay. Coming back to a more or less neutral spot here, let's find a little bit of a side, or a little bit of a twisting. So we're just gonna kind of rock from side to side. So left shoulder kind of reaching around toward the left hip point, right shoulder, and vice versa. It's just a little side to side movement. And then we'll meet up in extended child's pose. So knees coming out wide, big toes touching, lowering your way down to your variation of child's pose. Could be from your forearms today, or maybe walking your hands all the way out toward the top of your mat, and then sinking your head and heart back down. You can stay as is, or kind of shimmy your hands off of your mat so that it's kind of next to the edges of your mat, and then imagine your hands, maybe even your forehead if it's touching the floor. Imagine the hands and the forehead creating that grounding sensation again, quickly visualizing those energy roots rooting down. Inhaling, expanding through the belly, welcoming energy, and exhaling as you release. And making your way up to tabletop as you're ready. Take your time, disconnecting. We'll get ready for our first downward facing dog. So if you do have your blocks, you know me, I'm a block person. We'll bring those up at the top, curl your toes under, start to pick up the knees, lift through the sitting bones, reaching the tailbone high. Find your breath first and foremost here, in and out. And then if you want to add some movement, maybe pedaling out your legs, bending and straightening opposite knees. With an inhale, rising up to your tippy toes, creating even more space between your fingertips and your tailbone. And with your next exhale, lowering the heels toward the floor. So two more like that. Inhale, come up to the tippy toes. Exhale, lower the heels. One last time. Inhale to tippy toes. Exhale, lower your heels. Bend your knees, look toward the top of your mat, and then step or walk your way to the top. Couple moments here for a ragdoll forward fold. You could keep your feet as is, or widen your stance a bit, giving your body all the space it needs in this fold. And here, again, checking in with the breath. Maybe swaying a little bit here, nodding the head yes, shaking the head no. And then bending into the knees even deeper. Tuck your chin toward your chest and then walk your hands up your legs as you slowly make your way to standing. At the top, take some adjustments and then get a good bounce going through the body. You can always start with lifting and lowering the heels. It just always seems like a good go-to for me. Get some momentum going, shake things out. So you can shake out the arms and the legs independently or together. If any parts of your body don't feel like shaking, that's fine. Just moving as much as we're comfortable with right now to get the blood flowing, our energy, our prana moving. It's never good to get stagnant. Something I've really learned having a pond Okay, we're up at the top of our mat. Come into some stillness for just a second. Take a look at your feet. Make sure they're comfortable distance apart. Let's flip the palms face the front of the space. Pick up all your toes, spread them out, and set them right back down. Feel a sense of grounded connection through the soles of your feet. Steady, like the roots of a native plant, deep, drought resistant. Many of them very persistent and hardy. With an inhale, lifting arms up and overhead. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold, arms reaching wide. We're hinging at the hips and bending the knees, and then letting the arms find release. Inhale, halfway lift, hands coming up to the shins or thighs. Exhale, lower hands to blocks. We'll step the right foot back first, and then the left to your high plank, shoulders over wrists. One big breath in here, and then exhale, lower your knees, move those blocks to the side, and then lower your chest. Maybe resting your forehead on the floor if it comfortably works for you. Flipping the top of your feet so the tops of your feet press down so much that your knees might kind of pop up off the floor a bit. Let's find baby cobra. Inhaling as you lift the upper body, using the strength of your spine and core, and then exhale, lower down. Inhale, rising to your baby cobra. Option to hover the hands up off of the floor to really humble yourself. And exhale, lower back down. One more time, we're inhaling to rise. Let's stay lifted here for the exhale. Inhale, press your way up to tabletop and back to child's pose. Whatever variation you want here. Knees could be out wide or a little closer together. I find that with knees closer together, it feels like I'm getting more space through the back, low back. Experiments forever. When you're ready, let's rise back up to tabletop. Grabbing blocks if you want to. And with an exhale, find your downward dog. Big breath in when you get there. Let's sigh it out. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath in. And out. Inhale, roll forward to your high plank here. Exhale, set your left knee down, kickstand your left foot off of the mat, side plank. So the left hand, left knee, and right foot are all more or less in a line here. Let's reach the right hand high, press into that bottom arm so your left shoulder is engaged. You can stay here or lift the right leg. 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more breath in. And breath out. If your foot was lifted, setting it back down. Walk your hands around. Bring your blocks with you if you're using them. Walk your hands to the front or the long edge of your mat. Set the right foot down on the ground. And we'll just find a little bit of a rocking motion here to get a stretch going through the inner right leg, the inner thigh, the adductors. So we're just rocking forward and back, really focusing in on that area, finding some good spots. You can pick the right toes up and kind of move them around as well, maybe twisting a little bit through the right hip joint, just a little more play. So many options. Okay. And then we'll plant that right foot back down if it was lifted. Let's rise up to our gate pose. We're just standing up on that left knee. Let's slide that right hand just slightly down the right leg. Reach your left hand high, looking up, finding length upwards first, and then a little side bend toward the right, slightly back. So you're feeling a lot of stretch through the right hip flexor, the right side, all along the right side of the body. Gate pose. One more breath in and out. Come back up here. We can lower the arms. We're going to find a mini warrior two. So the right toes spin to face the back edge of your mat. Your other knee stays in place right where it is. Arms reaching wide, and then bending a little deeper into that right knee, pressing equally around the edges of that right foot. Mini warrior two. See if you can get that same kind of feeling. We're gazing beyond the right middle finger here, feeling strong. One more breath in and breath out. Let's bring the hands back down. If you have your blocks, let's bring them around. So now we're walking the hands to the back of the mat. You might have to scoot your right or your left knee over a little bit. We'll find another little hip flexor stretch here. So we're sinking the hip forward and down, but keep a little bit of engagement here. So we're not just dumping into the position, we're staying active. And then we'll find our half split. So pulling the hips back, keeping your hips lifted over the back knee as you pull your right toes up. I like to be up on the highest setting here to keep all of the focus on the back of the right leg now and not in the back. We want to have a neutral spine. So pulling the shoulder blades back and down. You can stay here or play transitioning between your low lunge, planting your right foot and puffing up the chest. And then back to half splits a couple times. Couple more moments here. Okay. We'll plant that right foot back down. Curl your left toes under, pick up your left knee, walk your hands and your blocks back around to the left side, the long edge of your mat. We're just finding a little forward fold, wide-legged forward fold here. You could bend into the knees and straighten them a couple times as you fold. You might bend a little deeper into one knee and then the other, finding kind of a squat from side to side. Let's have about 3 more breaths here and just follow your curiosities as you explore this position here for just a bit longer. Okay, coming to the top of the mat now, we're walking the blocks and the hands up to the tops, pivoting on your toes, then step your way all the way to the top of your mat. With your inhale, halfway lift. Maybe putting your blocks in place for you later if you're thinking ahead for your next downward dog. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Hands reach together overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a couple of moments tending to the various parts of your experience, yourself. Turning inward. And let's take a clearing breath in through the nose. And a sigh to release. Inhale, hands reach high, little baby back bend. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bring your hands to the block, step your left foot back first, and then your right to your high plank. One breath in there. And then exhale, lower your knees, lower your chest. Let's go through, let's turn this into half locust pose. So basically straightening the arms down by our sides, palms facing the floor to start. We're pressing the tops of the feet down a lot again, so you feel those thighs and glutes firing on. With your inhale, lifting your upper body, reaching the arms behind you like you're holding a giant beach ball behind your back. We'll stay here with the exhale. 2 more breaths. Inhale, invite the wobble, and exhale. 1 last breath in, and breath out. Lower down, crocodile pose. Stack your hands or your fists beneath your forehead, and rest your head on top. Let your heels splay out to the sides, taking a moment to soften. Remembering your intention if you set one. Over the course of the next few breaths, start to think about making your way up to tabletop and then back to your child's pose. Take your time. We have about 3 more breaths here. Just about 1 more breath. Eventually choosing an inhale to rise up, grabbing your blocks if you want, and then finding our last downward dog. Let's have 3 breaths there. Inhale, fingertips and hands active. Exhale, heels reaching toward the floor. Inhale and exhale. Let's have 1 more breath in. 1 more breath out. Inhale, rolling forward to your high plank, shoulders over wrists. Exhale as you set your right knee down, breathing like normal. Let's find that right foot in a kickstand position, so right foot coming off of the mat, left heel spinning down to the floor, right hand pressing into your block, and reach the left arm high, side plank. This is a great option to stay in or lifting that top leg. If you really want to go for it and challenge yourself even more, you could, straighten both of your legs, stacking them on top of each other in our side plank, but I'm not going to demo that one today. Feels so good. Okay. Then we're bringing that hand down, left hand down, walk your blocks over to the left side. And setting that left foot down, finding that rocking back and forth here, almost like you're headed into child's pose. Stretching the inner leg, inner left leg, the adductors, the inner thigh, kind of the groin as well. Good stuff all around. Okay, now we'll come up to our gate pose. So just standing up on that right knee. Let's reach both hands high. And then exhale. Let's find our little side bend to the left. So left hand slides down the left leg, right arm reaching high and back slightly, so you feel a good stretch happening through the right side. 1 more breath in and out. Lowering the arms, coming back up to neutral. Mini warrior 2 is next. So spinning your left heels to the back edge of your mat. I kind of spun around, so I'm backwards to you now, but back edge of the mat. Arms reaching wide in either direction. Check in with your pelvis here. Make sure you have a good engagement there through the core, through that part of the body. And we are sinking into that left knee just a little bit more. All right, feel that fiery warrior energy as you gaze beyond your left fingers. One more breath in and out. Grabbing your blocks, walk your hands all the way back toward that left foot, toward the back edge of your mat. We'll sink into the hips a little bit here, planting the left foot, puffing the chest up here, making sure you have enough of a lift through the blocks or the fingertips so your back is more or less neutral. And at some point, coming back to half splits, pulling the hips back and the left toes lift. Now's your chance to play a little bit, maybe going between those two. Maybe holding one of those poses as you take a couple of breaths. And then next time your left foot is planted, let's stay there. Curl your right toes under, pick up your right knee, and then walk your blocks all the way around to the top of the mat, pivoting on your feet. Step to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees here with an inhale. Let's reverse swan dive. So the arms reach out first and then hinge upward at the hips. And join your hands overhead. With your next exhale, lower hands to heart center. Take a few moments, come back to your breath, your intention, and your moment. Let's take a clearing breath together. Inhale through the nose. Big sigh, let it go. Blink your eyes open. And we can lower the hands down. All right, we'll work on a little bit of balancing here. If you have props in the way, maybe move those to the side for now. We will be working with tree pose with the option to go into a variation of hand to toe pose, which will look like this. So if that looks challenging, which it is, make sure you're close to a wall or a chair. It is so, so nice to just grab hold instead of coming all out of the pose. So I'm gonna stand close to the wall, grab something as well. So let's just keep the towel around the neck in case you want to head there. But first, let's shift all the weight to the right foot and kickstand your left heel out. So left hip is opening outward, finding a focal point, a drishti, somewhere unmoving to focus on. If you get to the point where you feel steady and you need more challenge, maybe slide your left foot up to your calf, or maybe give it a little hoist up to the inner thigh. This is a great place to stay. This is a wonderful balancing pose. So know this is an option for you anytime. You want to keep going towards that hand to toe pose. Let's pick up that left knee. See if we can lift it a little higher and then grab hold of the left knee. If you're close to the wall, good time to steady yourself here as you get used to it. If you do have very flexible hamstrings and you know you can grab hold of your foot without the use of a strap, you are welcome to just reach down and grab onto your big toe. Or go ahead and do your best to lasso your foot with your towel. You might have to step down, wrap it around, give it a good at least a couple inches, if not a foot or two, maybe coming back up. Whenever you're ready, possibly straightening or almost straightening the left leg. If you are hypermobile, making sure to keep a bend in your left knee. We'll open it out to the side. Maybe taking your hand away from your support for just a second. Maybe not, that's okay. Have just about one more breath. With your exhale, try to lower with some control, to the best of your ability. Lowering it down, shake out that right foot. Whew. We'll repeat that on the other side. I'm gonna come to my other wall just so I have good support. So all the weight coming into the left foot now as we find that kickstand position with the right leg now opening out to the right side. Find an unmoving focal point. Begin your focused, concentrated balancing. You can always lift that right foot up a little higher if you want more of a balance challenge. In your own timing, making your way towards hand to foot pose if you want. Lifting that right knee up, grabbing hold of the right knee if you want. This is a good place to stay as well. If you want to strap up the foot, either make that portion a balance challenge as well, or just lower it on down and get yourself back into place. You can straighten that foot out straight in front of you, or out to the side. Finding that unmoving focal point again, playing. Maybe another breath or two, and then eventually lowering everything back down. Give the left foot a shake. Anything else that's wanting a good shake, just go for it. Then we're heading down to the floor. Let's go right down to your back. We'll hug the knees in toward the chest. Take a little bit of free movement, rolling and rocking some weight, massaging pressure around the low back and sacrum. And we'll find a quick active twist portion here. So we're keeping the knees lifted, arms go wide in a T or maybe a low V, somewhere in there. We're inhaling at the center here, and then exhale as we dip and twist the knees toward the right, but keep it active here. We're not gonna set the feet down. Inhale, come back up to the center. Switching sides right away. Exhale, knees going to the left. Inhales have us coming back to the center every time. Exhale, twisting the knees in the opposite direction. And if you want, you can add on a turn of the head in the opposite direction of the knees. So when the knees go left, the gaze might go right. If there are any last shapes or movements that you are wanting or needing before final rest, go ahead and move through those now. It doesn't even have to be yoga. It can just be a whatever, a dance, a play, a stretch. And then when you do feel ready, go ahead and get comfortable, finding something like Shavasana or constructive rest pose. If you love legs up the wall or legs on a chair, you can always find that as well if you're in a space that will allow it. If you still have that towel handy, maybe you wrap that around your neck again. Just a little extra love there. Nothing like a good sigh or two upon laying down. And making your face and your eyes and your jaw as restful as possible. Give your mind permission to rest. For now, letting your body integrate all of that movement, that flow state, perhaps. And we'll simply exist and breathe for the next couple minutes. And I'll call us back in at the end. Full permission to rest. And knowing that you are more than welcome to stay right here and enjoy more rest, as much rest as you'd like. Whenever you are ready to reawaken, let's start gently by wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe letting your head slowly rock to one side and then the other. Continuing to find a little bit of movement, maybe some stretch or a yawn. And then eventually rolling onto either side, finding the fetal position with your knees slightly tucked in. And taking a full round of breath in the fetal position. And then using the help of your hands, press your way up to a comfortable seat. Joining hands at heart center, maybe closing down the eyes. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and be free. And may our own thoughts, words, and actions somehow contribute to that happiness and freedom for all. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Together, let's bring thumbs up to third eye center. And in a gesture of gratitude, let's seal our class with a little bow forward together now. Peace.